What's going on?
Hey,
What's up, people?
So we're rocking our first live together. So we'll see how this goes. This might be how it goes. Anyways. So we thought we'd come on here and just talk with you guys a little bit about what we are learning right now, some areas that we are growing in, and yeah. What areas are we growing in, gorgeous?
So this year, for the last few years, babe, what has been one of my biggest areas of personal growth?
Well, luckily it's just you, right? And I'm kidding. It's both of us. It's just been growing in our emotional health, in our emotional healing in a lot of different ways, in ways that we didn't realize that we needed it, in ways that we did realize that we needed it, and it has been an incredible journey.
It turns out emotions are kind of a big deal. Who would have thunk?
Don't know if you knew that.
Who would have thunk? I had no idea that emotions
matter. Affect us.
Yes.
And that emotions that are not addressed and not healed, what do you say? Emotions in pain that's not transformed will be transferred. It always shows up someplace. Always. It always shows up. And typically, that untouched, untapped, unhealed emotion does not show up in a positive way. It typically shows up badly, negatively.
So I want to reiterate that. Pain that's not transformed will be transferred. And what are some ways that I did that?
So luckily it's just you. Again, I just want to say that again. It's just him. No, I'm just kidding. It's both of us. So some ways that can come out is, so if you're stuffing your emotions, again, they're going to find a way out. And they find a way out through other situations. So you get triggered very easily. It could look like yelling. It could look like stonewalling or shutting down. It could look like physical symptoms. That's happened to me before, where if I have unaddressed emotions, it actually affects me physically. It can look like broken relationships. It can look like blaming other people. There's just a lot of different things that it can look like.
Another couple, self-sabotage has been one that I'm working on. Actually, is another big one. And some context here. So we both had some great childhoods, amazing parents. One of the research and studying that we've been doing, it talks about childhood emotional neglect that everybody experiences to some degree.
Right, and it's not that, it could be that you experienced a massive amount of neglect in your childhood, but it could also just be very subtly not getting the emotional support that you need. Because it's the whole thing is, if we think back on our childhoods, we can remember the things that happened, right? We can remember things that happened that are positive. We can remember the things that happened that are negative, but we can't remember what didn't happen. And when it comes to emotions, sometimes what didn't happen makes a difference.
No, that's exactly right. And so, childhood emotional neglect can happen with loving parents. We both had amazing parents and who loved us and stuff, but there were definitely some things. There's no parent that's perfect, right? We're not perfect. There's no parents that are perfect. And so regardless of how intentional your parents are or that you are, if you have children, they're always, one of the things I always say is nobody leaves their childhood unscathed. Yes. Regardless of how Leave It to Beaver your childhood was or not, we all come out with some things that we've got to work on. What has our emotional journey looked like this year?
So I think a lot of times we don't pay attention to our own emotional journey until we hit rock bottom, or until we're hurting, or until we're suffering, or until it is coming out and it's starting to affect us in some way that we realize this can't go on. We start to realize, okay, like Noble talked about self-sabotage. Okay, why can't I get any traction in my life? Why can't I get any traction in the trajectory that I want to go on, be it in business, be it in your job, in your workplace, maybe in relationships? It could look like, why am I hurting so much, right? Why am I carrying around this hurt? Why do I feel angry all the time? And so we were kind of a lot of those things, if not all of those things, and just kind of hit a point where we realized we can't keep doing this, right? We can't keep doing this. It's not getting better. Like it wasn't, we realized this isn't going to go away on its own. It's not going to just get better by ignoring it. And so we just were like, okay, we have to dive into this. And it's not always fun to dive into it.
So if you're watching this live or recorded, if you could type in there, hashtag I can relate.
Can you relate?
Hashtag
Anybody?
I can relate.
Are we alone?
Please type in the chat log and let us know if you feel like, because we've got a whole bunch of lessons learned that we could share with you all. If you feel like this is a worthwhile topic based on where you're at in your life and your journey, please let us know, and we could do share many of our lessons learned. Because here's the thing for me, I'm a hardcore people guy.
Yes,
I love people.
He's a hardcore
and
people guy.
one of the things that just has been frustrating in this journey is knowing that due to where I've been emotionally, it has impacted my ability to connect and lead people and influence people. And that's a passion of mine, is connecting and leading and influencing people in a positive way. And to know that I've got one of the things we called it in the military is a LIMFAC, a limiting factor, being my emotional maturity, if you will, my emotional growth. That has been also, as much as it has been hurtful, has also been helpful, because I've used it as fuel to not want to stay in that position anymore and really want to change and grow in this journey of emotions, which I had previously thought emotions and feelings were completely lame. I'm just being honest with you. I thought it was weak sauce. I thought it was like, why? Who cares? I've made it this far in life, not even realizing that there was a world called emotions and feelings.
He did. He would argue with me, like, what's the point? What does it matter? And I was like, well, clearly it matters, because look how you're acting, right? It matters to me. No.
Keep it real, Mama Sita.
Keep it real. But it does matter, right? And I read it this way, that your feelings and emotions are the most human part of you. It's almost like that is the truest part of you. Which is interesting, because we tend to not think about it that way. So I love it. I'm seeing several people on here who are giving us the hashtag I can relate. So I'm glad we're not alone. And I think we'll be able to offer some things.
And if you feel like this, again, is a topic that you would like to hear more about on our particular emotional journey, put hashtag bring it. Hashtag bring it if you want us to share some of our lessons learned. One thing that I'll say just in closing is, for me, a big giant lesson is that God gave us feelings and emotions. So if God gave us feelings and emotions, and in my opinion, yes, I know there are lots of chemical reactions, but I feel like we are more than just a series of chemical reactions. I feel like, again, God gave us, the concept of feelings and emotions. If God gave it to us, then why have I been almost intentionally and subconsciously neglecting this gift, tool, resource called emotions and feelings? And I'm ready to, and thank God, I'm ready to change that and start
done with it.
Area.
So I guess so I see some bring its, and Naomi, hi. And one of the things that I just want to encourage you guys with, that this helped us at the beginning of our journey, because it seemed like we were kind of climbing out of a really deep hole. Like, really? Does it feel like we're just kind of
Mount Everest?
Or Mount Everest, whatever. No big deal. But one of the things that really encouraged us on our journey is just hearing and reading and learning, you can heal from this. You totally can. You don't have to be limited by this anymore. So let me ask you, because this whole concept of not being in touch with your feelings and emotions can cause a couple of results in your life. And we'll end with this, then we'll wrap it up. For this one, maybe we'll come back and talk about this some more. We'll see what you guys say. So one result that it can have in your life is you can, some people can end up, and this was noble, not even being in touch with their feelings and emotions, not knowing, I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know how to name what I'm feeling. I don't even have the words for what I'm feeling. I just know I'm feeling something, right? And typically this person's feelings and emotions are limited to happy, sad, or angry, right? And that's about all they have. They don't have a robust vocabulary for how they're feeling. Another result could be you could not know who you are, and this was more me. I didn't have a sense of who I was as a person. You could ask me to write down what are 10 things you like to do, and I would struggle with that because I wasn't in touch with me and who I am as a person. There's several different ways that this can show up. It can lead to you feeling very disconnected from your own life. You can feel like you're kind of on the outside looking in, not really relating with the people around you. Are you relating to this? If you're relating, give me a hashtag I'm relating, because I want to know if this is resonating with anybody else. And then a fourth way that this can show up is you can tend to feel like you have this fatal flaw, right? Like, well, if people only knew this about me, they would never like me, or they wouldn't accept me, or they would reject me for sure. So I can't let anybody know about this fatal flaw about me, right? So anyways, again, just know that that this can be healed. So maybe in upcoming episodes, we'll share some of the resources and how we're applying it and what this is looking like for us.
Yeah, and one other thought is just for those of y'all that may think, hey, this is warm fuzzy, this is cheesy, whatever. In the book called Emotional Intelligence 2.0, one of the top, if not the top indicator of high performance, high achievers is emotional intelligence, is EQ, emotional intelligence. So this is a very, very important topic that literally affects and impacts everybody. You guys rock. God bless you all.
See you next time.